gentlemen, welcome into what's going to be the nicest MMA show that you will ever hear. UFC Talk 69 goes down, and it's perfect because it's right. Nice. And I love the timing of this because we get UFC Talk as soon as right after UFC 269. So Blake, it was almost like it was meant to be, isn't it?
We planned this out 2 years ago.
Whenever we started actually
or a year and a half ago, whenever it was, I don't know.
Whenever we started actually producing the episode, like UFC stuff and MMA stuff. And we even foresaw them skipping a couple pay-per-views as well because of what happened during last year.
Exactly, we accounted for it. We were, looking ahead,
Mystic
and
Mag,
it worked out perfect.
Mystic Mag, we predict these things, man. But UFC 269 was it made me question everything I ever thought I knew about MMA. It was one of the most mind-boggling cards I've seen in a while. Between, at least the co-main and main event, Amanda Nunes goes down. Dustin Poirier gets handled in 2 back-to-back rounds, which is not really something that we've seen before. And there is a lot to dive into on this card. Of course, also a little bit of what the blank action because Nate Diaz signed a contract extension. We're going to take a look at what that might mean as well. And the last card of the year, UFC Vegas 45, is actually a really good card. And I'm excited for it, and it's a great way to cap off a year of UFC. But, of course, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Ross Allen, joined alongside by the fourth and long MMA correspondent, Blake Campbell. And, Blake, how are you feeling after 269?
Man, I'm still pumped up from that night. It was just back-to-back, just phenomenal fights. Start to finish. I got to my boy's house like 30 minutes before the early prelims started. I almost never do that. I kind of like to just watch the early prelims at my house by my own, at my own pace, and then get over for the prelims and the main card. But no, this weekend I texted my buddy AJ. I was like, dude, I'm coming over like 2:30, bro. We're gonna get the food cooking. We're gonna have everything ready. We're gonna be a couple beers deep by the time this thing starts, so we can be prepared for the sugar show.
Hell yeah, and
I'm repping him today.
Dude, you're always repping the Sugar Show. The OG merchandise, too, as well. So you're just one of the old goats. But that's what we kind of bring you guys as well. But before I hop into things, just a couple things I want to mention. Of course, live on YouTube now and on Spotify because it's on video on Spotify. I did the One Chip Challenge for charity. Ultimately, we were able to raise $316 for Stand Up to Cancer. And, by proof of this little thing I get to hold up if you see on camera. Of course, I post it everywhere. I absolutely demolished the One Chip Challenge. That hour was easy. In fact, it really only took me 20 minutes to get over it. So, I don't know, man. I guess I'm just impressive. Is that what it is? Put a little respect on my name.
Built different, bro.
Built different. Maybe next time, if I get paid a lot more money to do it, I will do that. And maybe I'll put a little Dustin Poirier hot sauce on.
Some of the KO edition.
Ooh, I wonder how spicy that is. I haven't heard.
We gotta ask our guy, Unmatched MMA, or
yeah.
I think I got his name right.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, he's the GOAT, bro. He's got all the Dustin Poirier hot sauce on lock.
Hey, shout out to Unmatched, man.
He said it's pretty spicy though. He said he's not a huge fan of spicy things, so he might it might be a little biased, but he said it is pretty spicy. He's got that ghost pepper with the habaneros. So
Ooh.
I'm gonna have to pick up a bottle, and update the peeps.
Dude, yeah, exactly. And if I could do that, Chip, I could probably do a whole hell of a lot of things. Would I want to do that again? No, probably not. But you can go watch the YouTube video if you missed the stream because there's probably about a 10-minute section in there where it's just different portions of me making different noises in pain. It was those first 20 minutes were not fun at all. Of course, get yourself some Christmas gifts, whether it be for the family, the friends, or even yourself. Of course, what we got right here is what I'm wearing on video. It is our ultimate banger, or a certified banger collection. Of course, you got this. We got a nice MMA logo with a silhouette on the back. And hat pre-orders, trucker hat pre-orders are going live right now. Go on over to thefourthandlong.com/apparel to either get your hands on one of these sick tri-blend t-shirts that just make your arms look freaking sweet, all right? And the chest, too. It helps everything. And go get yourself a trucker hat. Those are both on the same page. But let's get into things because there's no need to dilly-dally. We got a lot to talk about on this card because it was a wild one. How else are we going to start talking about a card and then to ask the question, Blake, did the bangers hit?
Dramatic pause. Fuck yeah.
Hey.
I think it was a smashing hit this weekend. I mean, every single banger that we put up there, I think was probably... I mean, maybe I'm biased. I think they were the most entertaining fights of the night. Josh Emmett and Danny Ige. I mean, from round one, Emmett dropping him and then Ige coming back. Arguably, he could have won the last 2 rounds. I honestly was kind of shocked Josh got the win. We'll talk more about that later.
I mean, why talk about it later? Let's talk about that now.
That's right. Let's do it then, bro. I mean,
I was shocked. I thought Josh Emmett won that fight because
I thought it was a draw.
He won the... I could see that too, but my mindset is he won the first round, he lost the second round, and in the third round, that's where the controversy comes in. It all comes down to how you scored the third round, because I mean, unless you're Saldi Amato, who is the dumbest piece of shit I've ever seen.
What he's watching.
How did he give that second round to Josh? How
does
he
do it? Keep getting on cards? Like
he
don't
should be
understand.
fired. How does he have a job?
Yeah. The 30-27 was shocking. I don't have a problem with Josh winning because, in all honesty, I do think Josh was by far the most dangerous fighter. Well, maybe
also,
not by far.
If you look at the third round too, because of course the main scoring criteria is damage. Josh Emmett was outstruck.
Not if you're Corey Sandhagen and TJ Dillashaw. Just saying.
But let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that one. Normally, the main criteria is damage, and what we saw is Josh Emmett got outstruck 22-20 by Ige in that last round, but he did have the more head shots or head strikes than Dan Ige, and I believe he did more damage than Dan Ige did in that third round. So that's why I give it to him. I could easily see the argument for Ige. It's definitely not a robbery. This fight is not a robbery. If you call this one a robbery, I don't know what you're talking about. Josh Emmett won this fight. I could see the case for Ige, though. But I gave that third to Emmett. I felt comfortable with it.
I mean, I think it was a decently fair... The only one, like we just said, 30-27 was a little unreasonable.
No.
Ige definitely won that second round. Yeah, but, I mean, the other bangers on the card, Kai Kara France versus Cody Garbrandt. That was a banger. I mean, my goodness, Cody, sorry, my guy, but you kind of got punched around the cage there. Mm-hmm. It was a fun fight while it lasted. Fireworks, really banging off. And then, of course, Sean O'Malley versus Raulian Paiva, another phenomenal fight. And it's crazy that Sean disclosed he was a little injured going into it.
Broke a hand, right?
He had sore ribs. I watched his podcast yesterday with his coach.
Oh, yeah.
It was either Monday or Tuesday, and he didn't have broken ribs. It was just something like severely bruised or
contused,
something bad in there, but not broken or anything. So it was just to the point to where he couldn't do grappling and didn't know how he would respond if he did in those situations. Exactly. And that's why it was kind of interesting hearing him talk about it, because he even told his coach, he's like, they were warming up in the back, and I guess he was asking, like, do you want to go through some pummeling? Do you want to, maybe practice some escapes, something? And Sean was like, no, dude, honestly, I want to go in there delusional. Like, I want to just have so much faith in my hands that I'm going to get the job done the way I need to get it done that doesn't even cross my mind. And I thought it was a pretty decent approach. He went in there, had probably the most impressive performance of his career so far, which is
absolutely did.
Saying something, because
this is a hardest opponent.
He's had some impressive performances.
Raulian is the furthest thing from a can. This guy was ranked when they made the fight. Of course, he fell just slightly out of the rankings when this fight did go down. Raulian can throw. He can freaking throw, man. And
well-rounded.
He got pieced up.
Dude, it was bad. From the very beginning. No, I don't even... How many shots? Like 11 shots maybe he landed? I don't even know.
Not a lot. Not a lot. And this was a statement victory for Sean O'Malley. At least in the eyes of the casuals, maybe not, because there's not a shiny number against Raulian, next to Raulian's name. But this is by far the best opponent he's gone against. Way better than... I mean, if you want to call a can crusher when he beat up Chris Moutinho, obviously you can say that. But this win, I don't want to say it shocked me, but it definitely put me on notice.
There you go. That's all you need, man. Welcome to the Sugar Show.
Dude, it's not like I was underestimating Sean O'Malley either. I was just really curious to see what this fight is. Of course, his stock took a hit when he lost to Chito Vera. Well, I'm sorry, I'll put the 0 for you, Sean. Undefeated, of course. But I really like this. This was a very, very strong statement that he made to open up the card, and he now moves into 13th in the bantamweights. We talked about this, but Chael Sonnen has him at 6th. Is he actually 13th? It should be as high as 6. How good is Sean O'Malley? Like, realistically, if you were to rank him right now, just as how good of the fighters are, where is he? Where is he at on the top 15?
I still think there's some questions that need to be answered with him. So, like I was telling you the other day, I mean, anywhere from, I think I said, 12 to 15, I would be pretty comfortable with. Because, I mean, we still need to see him, get tested a little bit more, incrementally, too. I don't want to just throw him in there with the Wolves. And Dana White's come out and publicly said that. He's no Hamzat, right?
Yeah.
And that's no offense. It's just the truth. Like, let's just incrementally build him up. He's a cash cow. Everyone knows that.
First, I kind of thought that was I wasn't expecting Dana to make a statement like that. You think you should build him up a bit more, but he was very honest with the media.
You know what, though? I mean, that could have been added motivation. Maybe he was trying to see how Sean responds.
Right, light fire into Sean's ass.
And, I mean, really, like, Sean went out there and passed the test with flying colors.
Absolutely. Well, so will he say he's better than Rafael Assunção?
I think so, dude. I think he pieces Assunção up bad.
Is he better than Frankie Edgar?
I think he pieces Frankie Edgar up really bad, too.
Is he better than Pedro Munoz?
That would be a good fight. I'd like to see that. I think he pieces up Pedro as well.
Is he better than
I'm telling you, if
Marlon
he's going against the guys that are going to keep it standing up, everyone is on notice now.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep going.
Now you are.
Marlon Moraes, does he beat him?
Okay, that would be the hardest out of all the fighters that you just mentioned, I think, just because, I mean, we've seen what Marlon can do. He's got dynamite.
Henry Cejudo in the title fight on the ropes.
I mean, and who was the guy that he just faced? Merab. Remember what he did to Merab in the first round?
Merab is the freaking animal, too. The machine.
Tank.
I think,
for real.
I think you could put Sean O'Malley at 10. But that might be the highest you can go. Definitely not 6. I don't know what Chael Sonnen was talking about there.
Yeah, he's a Sugar fan.
Yeah.
He's a Sugar fan.
I don't blame him. He's exciting. But what should we do next for Sean O'Malley here? Obviously, we have some choices. It's so interesting, though, because before the fight, he called out Adrian Yanez. Adrian Yanez is still unranked. Sean O'Malley now ranked. You can still make that fight. Another thing you can do is keep trying to move him up the card. There's still some people clamoring for the rematch with Chito Vera. There's people talking about maybe Pedro Munoz. There's also, hell, dude, if you want to put striker versus striker, I'm not sure if it'd be the best matchup for either guys, just like selfishly in their own right, because you might want to push them separately because they both could be stars. But just from a fight perspective, Sean O'Malley, Song Yadong. Oh, boy.
Yeah, and I mean, that fight, out of everyone that's kind of grouped close together right there, I think that fight makes a lot of sense. Maybe not rankings wise, if you wanted to see Sean fight up in rank, but they are two on the rise prospects who are developing into contenders. They're one spot away from each other, right? 13 and 14, I believe.
Yep.
They're going to strike. It's going to be a beautiful matchup, and it'll kind of prove like, okay, if they win that fight in impressive fashion, it's going to open up the doors to the people that are up the ladder a little bit. Because, I mean, everyone else that's around them, let's see here. We got, like, Frankie Edgar coming off a loss. Pedro Munoz coming off a loss. Rafael Assunção has a fight booked this weekend. And coming off that brutal KO to Cody, I'm pretty sure.
Ooh, yep.
Stamen, not really too sure what's going on with that guy.
With O'Malley and Dong, depending on how they win, they could get a fringe top 5 fight.
They could get, I would say, anywhere from 6 to 10 if they whoever wins. I don't know. I mean, if I really think if Sean went out there and beat up Song, that would open up the door to the Chito rematch possibly. But that one's always going to be there, right? So, I mean, you don't got to rush that one back.
Exactly. Another name people are talking about is Dom Cruz, especially after his really good performance here, UFC 269 on the prelims somehow he was on there. I'm still questioning that, but not ultimately complaining because you got to watch him nonetheless. There's people talking about Sean O'Malley, Dom Cruz. We've been talking about this for a little bit. Dom Cruz definitely. I don't see a world where this fight gets made because there's no way Dom is.
Not
He's
yet.
still trying to chase the title. There's no way he looks at the 13th ranked guy when he's up there at 7. In fact, I already like the fight they were talking about because Corey Sandhagen on the MMA Hour is saying he's always wanted to fight Dom Cruz. That's a money fight.
Yeah, I'd love to see Corey Sandhagen or maybe Triple C comes back. And if he's serious about getting his belt back in the bantamweight division, that would be
he's
great.
coaching John Jones right now. Maybe
I would love to see that rematch, man. I mean, I know he kind of took care of Cruz in that first fight, but Cruz
Did he?
He kind of has, yeah, dude. Of course, he took care of Cruz in that fight.
I love Dom Cruz's little shot. Keith Pearson, his post-fight little octagon talk with Joe, saying how he let the fight go a little bit longer.
Yeah, but I mean, even in his post-fight presser, he was saying, "I'm not trying to crap on Keith with that. I'm trying to praise." I forget.
No, I know that's what he says. Also, Dom is I'm sure he's super honest. I mean, we heard the way he said about DC, but I just
left up
a little bit, dude. But in time when he said, I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. But I guess he didn't actually mean it that way. Definitely could take it that way though.
Yeah, but I mean, he makes some decent points when he's saying, like, the referee let it play out.
Yeah.
Like, in that first round, it was very similar to that Cejudo fight. He got rocked. I mean, seriously, I think he got dropped twice in that first round. So props to the referee for letting it go a little bit, especially a guy that is championship level like Dom Cruz. I see the points that he's making. I wouldn't mind seeing that rematch. But Corey Sandhagen coming off that loss, that would be a mega fight. I mean, it would be great for both of their careers, right? If Dom wins,
play matchmaker right now.
Title.
For Sean O'Malley, tell me his next fight and who is Dominic Cruz going to fight next. Make that match right now.
I think some fights need to play out before you can really matchmake with Sean, because really the only clear fight would be Song. But I don't even know if he has a fight scheduled coming up.
No, nothing recently.
Everyone else, like I was telling you earlier, is coming off of a loss, and usually they don't like to match up guys that are coming off of wins with guys that are coming off of losses that they're trying to push, because it just doesn't. It's not really eye catching, right? So they want to get some decent amount of credit with building their stars up. So
you think they still do Adrian Yanez?
I mean,
if Sean still wants it, does he get it?
Giannis hasn't even come out and said anything this last week, dude. He's been silent.
Can you blame him?
Not really. I mean, I think he kind of can tell now. Like, that's not an easy fight. Like, you guys can call Sean O'Malley a can crusher as much as you want, but the skills are undeniable. He's got some skills, man. Not saying he's going to be a champion. We'll see about that in the next couple years or so.
Obviously,
if he keeps
still has a
winning.
lot to go, but dude's a freaking stud, man. The proof is in the pudding.
He's entertaining. He brings eyeballs, like not just the MMA eyeballs, but the casual eyeballs, right? Like, best friends with Steve will do it. Celebrities love him. He's got an eccentric personality. So, I mean, you could really do anything you want with Sean. It's just the bad thing now or I guess not bad, but it's kind of annoying on the UFC brass side and also Sean's side, is there's going to be so many people clamoring for him to climb the ranks because they know now that he's a solid fighter. I don't know if we can say top level yet because, like I said, I'm a big Sean fan, and I still need to see a couple more tests that he has to pass before I can really call him that elite top level fighter that is going to be good under any conditions and isn't. I hate to say this, dude, but I mean, he gets injured every fight. Even this fight I don't know if he broke his thumb, but he busted up his thumb. So we got to see how he holds up.
And you can't blame that on being vegan anymore because he has been vegan for a few years.
No, I think not since 2017 or so.
Yeah, in like June or something like that he was talking about. But
whenever he had that Rogan podcast appearance, I think that was when he kind of quit.
All I know is, man, the bantamweight division is in a very good place. It's almost hard to book a bad fight. And so, super excited about it. Super excited to see the future. And speaking about the future, maybe a lack thereof, let's talk about Cody Garbrandt and Kai Kara France, because obviously this was a highly anticipated move for Cody to drop down to 125 pounds. Of course, you've listened to my interview with Team Alpha Male head boxing coach of Cody Garbrandt included. This weight cut wasn't a big deal to anyone around them. because he was a bigger bantamweight, and the weight cut aspect was fine. This wasn't an issue. But just once again, we see Cody Garbrandt go crazy, and he gets caught a lot in this, and his chin's just not there, man. It's just not there. It's not like I wouldn't attribute that to the weight cut because kind of saw the same thing happen in bantamweight the last few fights. But Kai Kara-France, man, he rushed him, he got him good, and he got the knockout victory in this one. So what do you think about the fight? And also, I mean, Kai Kara-France goes out, calls for a title shot. Definitely don't think that's going to happen. But what are your takeaways from this?
I mean, I don't know how much Cody's chin is gone because he took some fat punches in there and didn't really go out.
It's not like he doesn't. It's not like it. I guess it takes a few to knock him out. He just takes a lot of punches.
Yeah, I mean, he just didn't. It just didn't really look like he had a game plan in there, especially once he got hit. It's kind of sad to watch, honestly, because he's just been on. He was at the top of the freaking world, and then this fall from grace has been just. Yeah, I don't really remember seeing someone that has lost this consistently after being at the top.
Yeah.
Maybe BJ Penn, I don't know. That's like the only one that kind of comes to mind because this is just such a fall from grace. Mm-hmm. But the fight itself, I mean, I enjoyed the fight, watching the punches fly, not necessarily, the outcome and emotions afterwards.
Yeah, you're a Cody fan. It's hard not to be.
Dude, Kai was a freaking assassin that night. I mean, he came in and he was pretty much flawless. Hits him with that overhand and drops him and then just starts punching him across the cage. It was really as close to a flawless performance as I think you could have in that octagon.
Definitely looked like he had the guy like Dan Hooker in his corner. Pretty freaking apparent, given the way that all went down in that one. And it's hard because where do you go from here? Does Cody stay in the flyweights? Does he fight again? And what do you do for Kai Kara-France?
I think I saw him post something either like on Twitter or Instagram where he was talking about featherweight now.
I thought that was a meme.
Was it?
I thought that was a meme.
It was one of those ones where I just scrolled by, so I didn't really click into it.
Because I've seen a few of those. I'm pretty sure that's a meme. At least I really hope so.
Well, let's just pretend it's serious for a second, right?
Okay.
Like let's say it's serious. He wants to go to featherweight. Don't see that happening. They're going to be way bigger than him in featherweight.
He gets crushed at featherweight.
Plus, he has like 7 teammates in featherweight. Like, Jesus Christ, alpha male.
You go for Kai Kara-France. Let's put him in, I don't know, make him fight Dan Hooker then.
Yeah, that would be rough. Go from Kai to Dan. Jesus Christ. Dan's like 6 feet tall, dude.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
No, I'm 100%. I'm 99.9% sure that was a meme. Because there's no way that fight happens. There's no way he fights at featherweight. He's a big.
I mean, he could fight at featherweight. There's no way he couldn't fight at featherweight. He'd make that weight easily.
He could fight at featherweight if he was realistically. He'd fight at featherweight if he was in Eagle FC or Bellator. Cody Garbrandt.
He could fight at featherweight in UFC. I'm not saying he would win, but he could fight.
Yeah. Well, he could fight. Hear
and
me
that's
out,
exactly
Blake.
the point I'm making, bro. It's like I don't see him doing successful in 25, 35, or 45. Like we've seen how it all goes. He's beat one guy since 2017, Rafael Assunção. It's just not impressive. Like, what do you do with his name at this point? You can't really bank on him to make you money. He's going to probably get his ass kicked nowadays, which sucks.
Hear me out.
And you're paying probably, what, 200-something grand per fight to this guy
Former
to go out there and get sparked.
Yeah. Hear me out, Blake. Here's what's next for Cody Garbrandt. Triad combat. Book it.
But who's he going to fight? I mean, he's such a small guy.
I don't know, man. They'll find some can for him to fight and make some money and look good for that promotion.
Just don't go to bare knuckle. Just don't do that.
Oh, Cody would die if he went to bare knuckle. Oh, I don't want to see that. I am not a fan of that.
He should just retire, to be honest. I mean, he's done enough. He's accomplished everything he can in the sport.
Champion. And realistically, he's not going to get that belt back.
No.
So
he's not going to get the flyweight belt. He's not going to get the bantamweight belt. Sure as hell ain't going to get the featherweight belt.
No. So definitely a tough spot. Kai Kara-France, there's a couple things you might have to look at.
He got beat by a guy that is his son's name.
Really?
He wasn't even calling him. Wasn't he calling him Steve in like the build up?
Yeah, he was.
Like someone
Kai
was
was pissed about that.
I think Kai actually had a tweet about it or spoke
He had
about
an
it
interview
somewhere. I
about
can't
that.
remember.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I mean, the dude wasn't even calling me by my right name. And then the press conference, he's doing a face off with Sean O'Malley. Like, I was focused on this guy the whole time, you know, and he's over here facing off with Sean, calling me Steve, doesn't even know my name. Now you know my name.
Shoot, man. He's got the point there. It was weird. The tactics were interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He just didn't seem fully focused and locked in.
Yeah, which is it just kind of it just makes it that much more disappointing in this one, to be honest. And if you want to speak about disappointment, how do you feel if you are a Amanda Nunes fan, let alone the person that put what over 300,000 on Amanda Nunes to win this fight?
To win 30 racks, bro. He
Yeah.
put 340, I think, wasn't it 340 something thousand dollars to win 30 racks?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, $30,000 for people that don't speak.
Oh, that was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my entire life. Oh,
Yeah, I don't know.
that was
Betting 300 something grand to win 30 grand, I just don't see that as a
I
good...
just don't see why you'd bet that much money, especially in a sport like MMA. Save that for basketball.
Why wouldn't why wouldn't you have just betted 30 grand on Pena?
That would make you say, yeah.
You know, if you're just going to throw out hundreds of thousands of dollars, like, why don't you just bet the underdog? And then that way, if you do by some crazy chance win, you know. And I understand, like, he probably thought it was that much of a lock, but dude, I don't know, man. Like, was it really that much of a lock?
Apparently not. Because Juliana Pena is your new UFC women's bantamweight champion of the world after she chokes out Amanda Nunes in the second round, and I still can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth, Blake, because I never thought that we'd pretty much have a new bantamweight champion, and there's a lot going into this now, because there's a lot of questions about Amanda Nunes. The only problem is here is that, yes, Juliana Pena deserves this title. She beat Amanda Nunes. Absolutely, she won this fight, but this was not the best version of Amanda Nunes that we've ever seen. In fact,
now I'm going to stop you before you go any further, because let's not pretend that first round wasn't dominant. Amanda Nunes beat the shit out of Juliana in the first round. I mean, she was literally beating the shit out of her.
Was it dominant? I thought it was more like
it was pretty
60-40.
dominant. Like, I've watched that fight 3 times over now, and the first round was easy dub 10-9 Amanda Nunes. But
so what happened? Did she just get tired from that then? From whooping ass?
I think what she did was just fooled around a little bit too much and just kind of exchanged, like, the grappling exchanges were not smart, I don't think, that early in the fight, especially when she had COVID and all that stuff, and her gas tank might have been in question. Second round, you could tell a little bit it was starting to wear on her, and not to mention, Pena looks like she came in very prepared. That jab was money all night. She was beating Amanda to the point. Every single freaking punch, it seemed like. I mean, there was, in the second round, dude, I just started screaming. I was like, Amanda's getting rocked. Amanda's getting rocked. I was just screaming all over the house. I was like, dude, this is unbelievable. Because, I mean, it just seemed like, it was like they were jousting almost, right? Like, pointing out those jabs.
Yeah.
But Amanda was missing with most of hers, whereas Juliana was getting her on the lips, getting her on the nose, getting her on the cheek, like, pretty accurately with decent consistency. And I think that frustrated Amanda, definitely tired her out a little bit. And then the grappling, you know, got her to the ground. The biggest surprise to me was how quick she tapped. Didn't have any hooks in. Wasn't even really over the neck, it didn't look like. Yeah,
was that a quick tap? Was that an exhaustion tap? Was that
I think it was more, I mean, just from an outside perspective looking in, it looked like it was exhaustion. It looked like it was maybe a little bit of yeah, dude, she was just tired, bro. I don't know, man.
Obviously, it's outsider's perspective, but it looked like Amanda was like almost losing confidence because, you know, when she was lighting up Pena's head and face in the first round, 99% of women get dropped by that. It should have been a KO win if you're looking at pretty much any other fighter, but Pena weathered the storm and perfectly. And do you think that actually had Amanda Nunes worried going into the second round?
I don't think going into the second round she was worried. I think halfway or however long it lasted, right? Like let's say halfway between however long it lasted in the second round, that's when the worry set in.
3 minutes, 3.5 minutes.
Once she started getting popped with those jabs consistently, I think that's when she was like, okay, I'm in dogfight now. And then Juliana was able to really impose her game plan on the ground. And you could tell like she's, there's not a strength difference between these two women really. They're pretty equal level playing field in terms of physical attributes. Whereas a lot of people that Amanda has faced before, she's bigger, faster, stronger, more technical, everything. Where in this fight, not only is Pena similar strength, but she also had a fantastic game plan. I mean, seriously, she was countering Amanda so effectively.
It's perfect. You couldn't make it better than that. And there is a weird thing going on right now because, of course, before this fight, we just saw Amanda Nunes is this untouchable force of nature that just knocks people out, submits them extremely quick, and is by far the most dominant champion. Is almost look like there's no one that can even compare to her. But she's almost like lost a bit of her mystique with this one. It is what it looks like. The most vulnerable she's ever looked. And there's a little bit of a problem now because, yeah, she's still a champion, but she's champion of one of the weakest divisions we've ever seen in MMA.
Yeah, I think they have I think there's only 2 people in that division now, and they're fighting this weekend.
Yeah, and she's only champion of a division. She's champion of a division that might even get removed and just erased from the UFC.
Yeah,
it's a weird position for her to be in because, yeah, she's still a champion, but how much does that 145 championship actually mean? Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, championship is still a championship, and obviously there's still a lot that goes into that. But it was clear that her main title was a 135-pound title. That's the most important one. Now it's gone.
Yeah, just go to UFC.com/rankings. Scroll all the way to about the bottom of the page where it says women's featherweight.
Where it's
and just take a look at all the fighters that are listed there,
Do we want to save them the time?
There's none. There's just the champion.
It's blank. It's blank.
So
do with that as you will. Man, but wait.
I know the number one person that's probably pissed is Kayla Harrison, though. I'll tell you that.
Because now you can't really do that.
Can't really do the mega fight anymore,
Well, you still can. It still can be a big fight, but
not as big
it has
now.
to be for a belt.
Yeah, but I mean, they would probably fight at 45, right? Because Kayla's a big. Well,
she's a lightweight.
She is a specimen of a woman.
She's scary. Man. Yeah, that's not the last we'll talk about this. Right? We'll bring up a little later in what the blank, but we're going to move on to the main event of the evening, which, of course, was Charles Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier. And this was a very interesting fight for the reason that the first round was not competitive. That's, once again, another that's back-to-back, I guess, title fights now where Charles Oliveira he essentially got his ass whooped in that first round. You think so?
10-8, bro. First round, easy. He got dropped twice?
Yeah.
Once, at least one.
Yeah,
one
actually,
very
yeah.
serious time.
I don't know how he made that round, dude. I was watching. I was kind of losing. I was like, oh, Dustin going to win, and then you get to the second round where it's a complete domination from Charles Oliveira on the ground because Dustin Poirier just tries to keep him within his guard and hold guard and try to take the least amount of damage as possible.
Body lock.
Yeah, and
that's kind of weird.
He was getting hit with some heavy elbows. He just didn't. He said that he didn't want Oliveira to pass guard and put in the submission, which is fair. And then you get to the third round, and then Oliveira gets Dustin Poirier's back and chokes him up, and makes him tap to rear naked while standing. And it's still another fight, Blake. In his entire career, Charles Oliveira has yet to make it to championship rounds. What do you think?
I think Tony Ferguson is the only guy that take him to round 3 recently.
Tony Ferguson is the only person to make it out of the third round.
Yeah, but barely.
Yeah.
That fight was crazy, man. I think Dustin had over 40-plus strikes to the head in that first round of Charles Oliveira. Dropped him. did a little bit of ground and pound.
But that's twice in a row where Oliver's gone not only be in the first round, but 10-8 in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be careful with this guy now. I think the game plan can't be to just blow your load first round, try to get him out of there fast. I think you have to be smart with it. You can't just balls to the walls, just icy red and just try to kill him. Maybe take a little bit off, right? Don't try to just kill him with every punch, and maybe just win rounds instead of trying to just take him out, because it just looked like Dustin didn't have enough in the gas tank to really fend off those grappling exchanges in the second and third round. I mean, the second round, I kind of understand. He laid out his game plan a little bit, right, when he was reflecting on that Khabib fight, where he said maybe if I was more careful and just lost the round instead of losing the fight.
Yeah.
But
I don't blame him for
he implemented
just
that
holding
game
guard.
plan this time, and it didn't work either, because he just got super gassed in third round. I mean, it was instantaneous, basically, him taking Oliveira taking the back and tapping him out. So I don't know.
It certainly was a weird one. And Colby Covington was talking recently in the interview, and he said that he was kind of going through his process. And I think I agree with him at least a little bit that Oliveira's win here kind of waters down Khabib's resume. What do you think about that?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. Especially if you think about the MMA math, but we all know
which
that's
doesn't
not,
mean anything.
we all know that's not 100%.
Right.
But yeah, I think it does water it down just a tad, because now and again, this is based off of MMA math. We don't know what would happen if they actually fought, but his previous, the opponents that they have in common, Oliveira is, beat with ease.
Yeah.
So
and
it does diminish it a little bit, in my opinion.
Of course, like after this fight, it's reflex to go, oh man, what happened with Oliveira versus Khabib? But Oliveira is also quick to shoot that one down. And honestly, I applaud that, because he's a retired fighter running his own promotion. There's no need to even worry about him. You're just going to move on to the next contender. So I like that mindset.
Yeah,
Also,
I mean, there's nothing else you could do. I don't think Khabib would come back and fight anyway.
No,
his legacy is solidified.
Is he gonna make weight anyway? Dude's. He's not fat, but he definitely looks like he's enjoying retirement. He was always a big lightweight.
His cheeks are plump.
He looks healthy. Yeah.
Looks happy.
He looks like he's having a good time, man. You can't fault a guy for that. He's been a freaking cardio machine for decades, and now he's having a little bit of fun in retirement. Dude, I can't hate a man for that. I respect it, because I do the same damn thing.
Yeah, and I mean, also look at Oliveira's track record. He's fought damn near everybody. Ferguson fight never happened with Khabib. He's fought Poirier now. Knocked out Kevin Lee. Or did he knock him out or submit him? I can't remember. Finished him, is all I know.
Yeah.
He's fought really all
Kevin
the big
Lee
players in the
Eagle
lightweight
FC now.
division. So, yeah. I mean,
Also, shout out to you for calling that, too, by the way.
I'll try.
You know things.
I just didn't think I think
and
they
then
have a lot of respect for each
165, I
other.
think that's actually a really good move by
Yeah, and you see
there,
Khabib's
too.
working with Kevin too. Like Khabib's working with the fighters. Previous. What am I trying to say here, dude? An ex-fighter that is running a promotion. That's got to be really attractive to some of these guys, because he kind of understands a little bit.
He knows the fight game. I think Eagle FC, it's going to be the if you give it time, it's going to be the second biggest promotion to the UFC.
It's gonna have a bunch of credibility, because look at who's running it.
Yeah. Khabib already has more, 1,000 times more, I guess, respect as a promoter than Scott Coker does.
100%.
Yeah. So Eagle FC is going to be bigger than Bellator. It's just a matter of when. And that's my prediction for that coming. I'm actually excited to see them with the 65, the 75-pound weight classes. So
yeah, I need to do a little more research. I need to see like if they're gonna be televised, or if it's like a YouTube thing, or
it's probably going. Of course, it starts in January. So
didn't they just have their first event though, like last week or a week before? I thought they had a fight recently.
I'm not sure. All I know is they're going to be in Florida here real soon. But back to the UFC at least. And it's hard, though, man, because Dustin Poirier, this is now 2 title fights he's had. I guess technically 3 if you want to include the interim fight with Max Holloway. But this is 2 shots at the undisputed lightweight championship of the world. and 2 times he's come up short. Is he ever going to get a shot at gold again, or was this the last time we're ever going to see him in a title fight?
Poirier?
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's quite a line right now, with McGregor's injury, with Gaethje pretty much being promised the next shot, with Islam and Dariush battling it out for the top contender spot.
Probably pretty much second line after Gaethje.
There's like 3 people in line technically 3 spots in line right now, because it's probably about 4 people fighting for him, right?
Oh, that's
McGregor's always going to be at the top of the list. I mean, he is the guy, right? He is the LeBron James of the UFC. He's the biggest star. Not even LeBron James, Michael Jordan. So people are going to get mad about that, but this is a business. What do you run a business for? Make freaking money.
And there's some weird stuff going too, because of course we saw that little encounter between Gaethje and Oliveira after the fight. Oliveira has now come out to say that he'd rather fight Conor McGregor than Justin Gaethje because of the money he wants to provide for his family. Which
smart man.
That's just a good business move. I can't fault him for that.
Because guess what? You're going to be on a pay-per-view. You're going to have pay-per-view points. You're a champion. McGregor's going to be on the card. You're going to do at least 1.6 million. Dude, the guy that just beat Poirier, right? So people will probably be even more interested in an Oliveira versus Conor fight now, because they're like, oh shoot, this guy beat up the guy that beat up Conor twice in a row.
Well, Blake, just
Conor can do.
Just go to the all-encompassing strategy when it comes to getting a fight. You get the easiest fight for the most money. What is Conor McGregor to Charlie Olives? He is the easiest fight for by far the most money. It's perfect. Like, I can't fault him for this one. Of course, MMA says that, like, I mean, if you're going by morals, so you say, yeah, Justin Gaethje absolutely deserves a title shot, but
that's not Oliveira's problem, though.
No, it's not. That's Justin Gaethje's problem.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people have to learn how to separate their emotions from this. Like, at the core of this, everyone here that is in the UFC and that fights in these fighting promotions, they are prize fighters.
Yeah. As an MMA fan,
it doesn't say like they're morale fighters or something like that. People that follow a moral code. You fight for a check, and you want the biggest check possible, because guess what? Every time you're going in there, someone's trying to beat the shit out of you.
And you never know what the last check you're going to be able to collect is.
That's what I'm saying, dude. You could break a freaking leg in there like Chris Weidman and be done for 2 years, like crazy sport. So I commend Charles for having the wherewithal and I guess the confidence to be able to own that and say, yeah, I don't care. I want the money fights, dude. I'm champ. I can do what I want.
I still think he ends up fighting Gaethje next, but
I hope so.
I wouldn't be surprised if Conor gets in there. And let's take a look at Dustin, because obviously that Conor McGregor fight is still definitely on the table. If you take a look at Wednesday, he was going back and forth with actually
that
Nate Diaz.
String of piss.
But Dustin Poirier and Nate Diaz verbally agreed to a fight in January. Is that going to happen? No, probably not.
Wait, Dustin Poirier and Nate Diaz did?
Yeah, Nate Diaz offered to fight Dustin Poirier in January, and Poirier was like, "Yeah, I'm in."
When was this? Yesterday?
No, this is Wednesday.
This is today?
Yeah.
Oh man, I must not have checked Twitter.
Well, it was like maybe an hour before we recorded.
Oh, I was probably driving home then. Damn, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
In January though, that's like a month from now. Give me some time.
It's like, no, that's not going to happen, but I kind of want to see this fight, and this would be a fight. 170 pounds. Absolutely, this is a fight that's going to happen. They won't fight a lightweight, obviously. And Dustin was also talking on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani that he's not sure if he's ever going to make that cut back down to 170. So this fight with Nate Diaz makes sense.
155?
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, 155. So this fight with Nate makes sense. But also, Blake, talk about going back to him, a guy that called out Dustin Poirier. Let's do Dustin Poirier versus Colby Covington.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a fun fight, too.
I'd be down. The trash talk would be great. Dustin's going to be about as big. If not, he could be bigger than Colby Covington, too.
Yeah, I'm just selfish and want that Jorge Masvidal Ultimate Fighter deal.
Yeah, I know. We all do.
But dude, I'd be really stoked on a Poirier versus Nate Diaz fight at 170. That would be sweet. That would be a good introduction to the 170 weight class. And then if, say, he does beat Nate,
Colby?
Colby Covington could be an easy next fight.
Or hopefully, fingers crossed, Blake, the winner of Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington.
Well, I don't think he would fight the winner if Jorge won, because I'm pretty sure they still train together.
Oh yeah, that's right. Damn it! Why did they still have to do that? I forgot. It was only Colby that left that gym. Dustin's still there.
Got kicked out.
Yeah. Did he? Or no? You listen to Colby Covington. Dude. Obviously, he didn't get kicked out. I listen to everything that Colby Covington says and takes it. I also take it at face value.
Nice. Same with Chael.
Oh, absolutely. They're not characters out. They're 100% serious 100% of the time.
Well, they're always right. They've never lost.
Undefeated. Never lost a round.
Yep.
That's all you gotta say, man. But there's a lot you can do in the bantamweights. There's a lot you can do in the lightweights. This card still blew my mind with what was going on with it. And dude, it just as fight fans, we're in a fantastic spot to be, because they almost can't go wrong.
No, I mean, so many good fights. The Tai Tuivasa fight, we didn't even highlight that. Another great shoey. Bruno Silva's KO over Jordan Wright, that was gnarly.
That was good.
Andre Muniz, dude. There's a player in middleweight. Like, that guy is gonna be on everyone's radar now. I mean, just crazy. I think
also,
he
what
beat
about Aaron Blanchfield
Souza, right?
going over the prospect of Miranda Maverick?
Yeah, Aaron Blanchfield. She's only 22 years old.
Yeah, huge,
ridiculous
stuff there.
Ryan Hall's back in the winners column. I think that was kind of a weird performance by Derek Minner. No offense.
Yeah, no,
Randy Costa kind of lost a lot of
respect.
A little bit, yeah.
Jillian Robertson got the submission even while getting her eyes gouged.
Yes, we didn't talk about that. What do you think happens with the girl that did the eye gouge?
Oh, cut her ass and never let her fight again. That was.
I'm surprised there hasn't been something that's come out.
Well, she went and like apologized for it and said it was accidental. But when she says accidental, which one?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Which one was accidental? Because we all know both of them were.
You were caught in 4K, girl.
Come on now. It's pretty obvious to see. You're not hiding from anything.
Yeah, that's some dirty shit, dude. I don't like that.
No, I hate that. That doesn't belong in MMA.
No.
Absolutely not. But, dude, UFC 269, that's obviously one of the best cards of the year. That's definitely going to be on our radar in one of the...
short list.
Dude, it's on the short list. Absolutely on the short list of card of the year. We're going to be talking about that.
We're going to have to do some homework, though, because I remember... There was like at least 2 or 3 other really, really good cards.
I'm going to have to take a look at every single card that happened this year, including the fight nights.
Yep.
Because
there were some really good fight nights.
We've had some really good pay-per-views and in fight nights this year. We've been spoiled as fight fans.
Yeah.
Dude, but of course, drop your thoughts on the YouTube comments over on Rumble. Hit us up on our socials on Twitter or Instagram, or best of all, leave a 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts. To let us know what your thoughts on UFC 269 was, and if you're as befuddled as we are about some of the results from this card. But before we get into our UFC Vegas 45 preview, it's time, Blake. What the blank? Of course, I was exclaiming that the whole time I was watching UFC 269, and I've now been saying that and looking at the news this week breaking about UFC and MMA. So we're going to roll on into things. If you guys don't know how the segment works, of course, I have 3 statements for Blake, and they all have a blank in them, and it's up to Blake to fill in the blank with whatever he pleases, whether it be a word, a phrase, a whole paragraph. It's up to him. Of course, I always just love to say what the blank with Blake, as Blake fills in the blanks. And blank number 1, Blake, is that going back to that the co-main event of the evening, the person to dethrone Juliana Pena will be blank.
I think it could be Amanda Nunes. I think if that immediate rematch goes down, I think Amanda gets that dub.
They're probably going to that immediate rematch, you think?
I think so. But if not, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Juliana Pena just take the next
Blake,
I had the freaking rankings.
Hey, Blake, what about Valentina Shevchenko?
You know how I feel about that.
Yeah. You know how I feel about that. I just want to see Valentina just collect rubies. But she could definitely beat Juliana Pena.
But you know what? I think that performance by Amanda makes the Valentina trilogy a little more attractive.
Wait,
Now I
because
think,
are you seeing that Valentina might have more of a chance? Is what you're going with?
yeah, I think like you were saying earlier, a little bit of the mystique and almost what's the word I'm looking for, dude? When you just can't be touched, like uh, invulnerable,
Invincibility.
invincible. There we go.
There we.
And so that mystique and invincibility factor is kind of gone now, right? Because she was on that 12 fight win streak.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean her confidence might be dwindling a little bit, and Valentina's is at an all-time high, obviously. Ruby collector. Uh, so yeah, but yeah, Valentina, if she went to 135 and fought Pena, that'd be a really good fight too. I wouldn't be against it. I just think uh, it would just kind of hold up two divisions again.
Mhm.
You know, like
Yeah.
the double champ stuff is really fun and cool, but it just seems like it's a little overplayed now.
Hey, but Valentina now sitting atop of the women's pound for pound rankings and absolutely deserves that. And if you look, she's easily, if you're going off of last performances, Valentina is easily the most technical fighter in women's MMA and clearly the most dominant too. Because it's been a while since she lost to anyone besides Amanda Nunes, even though that second fight, still a lot of controversy in that one. You could easily sell the trilogy for that. Just, I don't think it's a matter of if. They're going to do it. It's just when. But statement number 2, Blake, is that Nate Diaz's contract extension means blank.
We getting the trilogy, boy.
Is that what that means?
That's what it means to me.
Ooh. Ooh. How so? How so?
We're getting the Conor McGregor trilogy, brother.
You think that's the
That's what
one?
it means.
You know, no
Absolutely.
Tony Ferg?
How many fights did it? Was it a new 3 fight or was it how many fights?
This is
I
3
don't know if they
fight, I
disclosed
think, is
it.
what they gave to him.
Yeah, man. So I think
Being
he has three
speculated.
super fun fights left. Maybe a Tony Ferg, maybe a Poirier, maybe a McGregor. For sure, McGregor. I think there's
That
no way you
has to be
can't make
right.
that fight.
Has to be.
The shit talk is too good. The press conferences, everything is just going to be too good. And
Also,
the
who
fight,
doesn't love a trilogy? Trilogies
the
are
fight.
great, man.
We've had 2 fights with those guys,
Come on.
and both of those fights have been
It's a one.
probably top 5 fights of all time.
Yeah, in a lot of people's lists, that first one, man, that first one's easily up there.
Even the second one, man,
A lot of people have that first fight as actually the best fight of all time, too.
it was great. I mean, it's so back and forth, right? You
So
had
good.
kind of like a Charles Oliveira title fight,
Yeah.
you know, excuse me, Nate getting rocked in the first round, comes back, rocks McGregor second round, chokes his ass out, basically killed him.
Yeah.
There's no referee, he kills him.
Shoot. Straight up, dude.
That's why I think submissions are kind of almost more badass than knockouts because it's like, dude, you had his life in your hands.
You got the point. Yeah.
You
You
gave
just
it back.
keep choking him out, or at least like with those choking with the chokes. If you're going with like a Kimura, you're just going to fully dislocate this guy's arm from the socket
Yeah.
and break in a bunch of places. Heel hook, you could paralyze, you ruin
Yeah.
someone's leg for life.
Because KO, you don't have a choice, right?
No, you're.
Like you get sparked or you spark them.
Mhm.
Submission, either you're tapping out or you're going 9-9. Or
No
you get
submissions
eliminated
as
4-0.
quick as a KO.
True, but I still think there's a little more. Um,
Edge.
I just think what goes on in the mental is like a little more serious with the submission because it's like, dang, dude, that guy really just ragdolled me a little bit.
Well, like you have to decide whether you're going to tap, go out, or break something. If you get knocked out, you're not deciding you're getting knocked out. You just
No.
get knocked out.
Choice has been made. Choice has been made for you. Here's a blankie. Here's a pillow. Don't forget to brush your teeth.
Unless you're Tito Ortiz in his boxing match, then you decide to get knocked out. Or Ben Askren versus Jake Paul.
Jeez.
And the funny thing is, Blake, speaking of Jake Paul, last statement, I blank Paul versus Woodley 2.
I will watch Paul versus Woodley 2
Okay.
for free. Don't ask me. Don't ask me how, but I will watch it for free.
Oh, man. Oh, I love it. This sucks, dude. Like, Tyron Woodley was talking about how, yeah, if he wins, there's a trilogy. It's like, oh, no. I don't know what I want less, Blake. I don't know if I want to see... what would you prefer? Jake Paul winning again or a trilogy of these two. What's the lesser two evils?
I just don't see Tyron Woodley beating his ass.
No.
You know, so I think I'd rather have Paul win, Jake Paul, get the dub.
Just move on.
And then hopefully someone else is going to actually knock him out, fights him. Because
A real boxer.
Tyron Woodley's going to knock him out.
Even with the knockout clause?
I just, I mean, I don't see it happening, dude. I think it might actually end up being a lot worse for Tyron this time around.
We were so close to seeing Jake Paul get his ass whipped by a real boxer.
Were we though, dude?
I thought we were.
Were we not, man? That whole shindig was just really weird to me. We'll see if they make that happen down the line.
Hey, Jake said
I was very interested though, because I was like, man, I didn't get to watch Tommy's fight against Jake's training partner. I heard it wasn't even that impressive.
I would have actually respected Jake if he beat Tommy Fury, because I would have been a legitimate boxer that he would have beat.
I don't know if he's like a legitimate boxer.
The most legitimate, at least.
But I'm saying at least he is a boxer, right? And you gotta keep in mind too, he's getting trained by the heavyweight world champion,
the Gypsy
Tyson
King,
Fury.
Baby, so, the lineal champion, the best.
You know he was going to be prepared. At the very least, he was going to be prepared. He's a physical specimen, and he was getting the coaching that he needed.
There's no way he was either going to win or die in that fight, because if he lost to Jake Paul, how would he be able to go home to his historic boxing family?
There's a lot on the line in that fight. It was an interesting one. But also at the same time, man, I mean, Tommy is just a little too timid in my opinion. Like, he wasn't even talking any crap. Like, it was all...
His trash talk wasn't too bad.
It was all Tyson. I mean, he had one good moment, I think, in a press conference or something where he went off on Jake and, like, actually made a lot of really good points.
Yeah, like that speech he had.
Yeah, but I'm sure that was prepared probably. Like, that sounded very, like, recited. And just, like, you know... He knew what he was saying on that one, right? But anytime there was a back and forth between them, especially when it was that really janky Skype call with Jake, that press conference where it was all the Furies, and then Jake was on, you know, in his pool or whatever on the crappy reception.
It was so weird.
It was literally all the dad and Tyson versus Jake. Like I almost thought they were fighting Jake, not Tom.
I wish Tyson Fury was fighting Jake Paul.
I wish the dad would fight Jake Paul, bro.
I think him too.
He's like, "Shut up, you fat lard."
It's so funny. Oh, it's such a
It doesn't
train
take
wreck,
much
man.
to entertain me, bro. Just start calling someone names, and I will watch the shit out of
that. I wish I could say I was above that, but I'm absolutely not. I'm right there with you, Blake.
Let's be honest, bro.
No.
Let's be honest.
Dude, I'm just like a you know, the guy brain in us is like, see, just little you stupid. Oh, got him good. Or if forbid you call someone a dumbass, shit gets real, man.
Call someone a bitch. Call someone, you know.
Don't ever call someone a bitch.
Say you know, say their mom has tickets to the fight.
Oh,
shout out Kevin Lee and Kiesa.
Don't you ever talk about my...
Don't you ever talk about my mom.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
That was just such a great moment, dude. I just can't believe how worked up Michael Chiesa got over that. Dude. Like, dude, his mom really did have tickets to the fight.
She literally has tickets.
That's all he was saying. Don't you talk about my mom.
Your mom's a nice person. Don't you ever talk about my mom.
What'd you say?
Your mom drives a Subaru. Don't you ever talk about my mom. Dog, you can't say anything, man. You can't just don't say the M word.
Yeah, bro. Stay away from that.
That's how you get them.
Stay away from the M and the N word, bro. All right?
Words to live by. Absolutely. Words to live by from Blake. Thanks for the advice. Jeez.
Stay off of Call of Duty, guys.
Unless you want to go back to Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops 1. That was a wild west of gaming. That's a for sure. But ladies and gentlemen, let's cap off the show with the last card of the year. UFC Vegas 45. Chris Daukaus versus Derek.
My balls was hot.
My balls was hot, Lewis. And I'm actually super excited for this one. Also, there's a lot writing online for me because I might be able to look like a genius. Because, Blake, if you want to throw it back a while ago to February of this year, I said that Chris Daukaus was going to be a top 5 heavyweight fighter in the UFC within 12 months. If he wins this fight, he is.
What is he right now, like 6?
Right now, Chris Daukaus is ranked there at 7. Derek Lewis at 3.
Yeah, dude, you'll be right on spot, right spot on, whatever they say, you know.
And it's not. I don't want to like root against Derek Lewis, but I really want Chris Daukaus to win, so I could be right about this.
It's always hard to root against the Black Beast. He's just fan favorite.
I'm just not going to root against anything. I'm just going to watch the fight and
just enjoy it.
If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm probably going to see Derek Lewis knockout. So who's the real loser
you were
here?
Close though, you know, you were right there. And when you get to this upper echelon in basically any division besides women's featherweight and possibly flyweight, it gets really hard, man. Like any fight is a freaking coin flip. Mm-hmm. Seriously.
I'm super excited to see Chris Daukaus, man, because this guy is a really solid fighter. He looks like a big boy. He looks like a fatty, but man, his hand speed is that, like, when I first saw him start fighting in the UFC in like last summer, it jumped off the page of how like good his hands looked, man. This guy was just freaking throwing and knocking dudes out cold, and I'm super excited for this card. And also, it's just a fairly it's a really solid fight night too as well, because you got a lot of stuff going down on the prelims. You got some solid women's fights and Pennington versus Chison. You got Eubanks versus Gatto, Jourdain versus Ewell, which is also really good looking stuff there. And even then the main card, man, there is some really, really good fights on here. And the co-main has a chance to be a boomer bust in my opinion. But Blake, it's about that time. Give us the last Blake's Bangers for 2021.
Can I get a drum roll?
All
right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna now reveal to you the last set of bangers for the year 2021. Woo! And it's gonna be 3 fights in a row again.
It worked out the last couple times. Let's do it again.
So we're gonna start here with the Damage, Darren Elkins versus Cub Swanson.
Best tattoo in the game.
Enough freaking said on that fight, dude. Cub Swanson is a stud, veteran, been in the game forever, always been near the top. Darren Elkins,
stud, veteran, been in the game forever.
You know, so I'm just really excited for this fight. 2 guys that can take a lot of damage and also deal a lot of damage as well. So I'm really excited for that fight.
That's a good fight, man. That's a really good fight.
Next fight, Carlos Fajeda versus Gamro. I'm not going to try to say his first name because I'm just going to screw it up probably. Matus, maybe? I tried. There you go. I tried. This is going to be a sweet fight. Gamro's last fight was against Jeremy Stevens, and my goodness. That was well,
I guess
awesome.
because it was a submission, but he ran through him. I think that's safe to
say. And he also beat Scott Holtzman. So yeah, I'm pretty interested in that fight as well. I think that has a potential to be a really good fight. Fajeda, you know, I don't think he's had the results lately that he's wanted, but he's still a really dangerous fighter.
You can throw, man. And then you can freaking throw.
Absolutely, and you can submit. And then last but not least, we're going to do Rafael Assunção versus Ricky Simón. I think this is a perfect fight for Ricky to kind of prove,
Ricky, baby,
I'm coming up in this bantamweight division. So excited for that fight as well. Maybe Assunção has a comeback, right, and puts another prospect away.
You never know.
So we'll see about this one. I think that's going to be a really fun fight as well.
I am super pumped for all 3 of those, man. Those could, honestly, like, if you look at, wow, that was awful. If you take a look at
that one chip, bro,
dude, still feeling it. I guess I was definitely feeling it on a Sunday morning. That was not a good time. The rumors are true. I'll just leave it at that one for you guys. Also the burps, like during the stream, it was hot burps. The chip didn't taste good. Those burps tasted horrible. Each time it sucked. It was so bad. Go watch a YouTube video so you can watch me suffer for a little bit. But let's take a look at this co-main and main event of the evening, because we got a pretty important welterweight contender fight between Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Bilal Muhammad. Bilal, of course, his last fight was a no contest against Leon Edwards, and so he has a chance to prove himself here. He's currently the 10th ranked fighter in the division. Stephen Thompson had he could have gone to title shot if he beat Gilbert Burns, but Gilbert Burns goes out, beats Stephen Thompson, and Thompson is still trying to get to that title. If he loses, it's going to be tough. If he wins it, he's right back in there. This is a big proof of fight for either guy. How do you see this one going?
I see Stephen Thompson dancing his way to another decision win.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. I
It's
don't.
going to
I
be a
don't
good
really
fight.
see how. I don't think so. These two fighters stylistically, like the only way I see it, I don't see it being interesting unless Stephen Thompson knocks his ass out, and we haven't seen that happen for a long time.
Stephen Thompson head kick. Let's do it.
I'd love to see it, but then again, keep in mind, Bilal wants to get to the ground. What happens when you kick? You get caught, get taken down. So I don't know. Maybe the kicks might be out of it. Might be a little bit more of keeping his distance, at staying at range and using his punches rather than his kicks.
Yeah, it's going to be a super interesting one, and honestly, I'm really excited for the main event of the evening because it's two dudes that know how to knock people out. Essentially, is what it is.
Throw down.
These guys can throw down 31 combined knockouts between the two. Derek Lewis with the most knockouts in UFC history. Both these guys are studs, and obviously, and both of them have a lot to prove too because Derek Lewis just got knocked out in his hometown where he's come out and said that he did feel the pressure, which I don't blame him, but he got knocked out in the interim title fight in August against Cyril Gane. And Chris Daukaus, this is like he's fought good guys, like middle-ranked guys in the UFC heavyweight division, but this is obviously his first test. This is his biggest test up to this date. There's a lot on the line here, Blake, and there is a top 5 spot on the line right here. Who takes it home?
This is a tough one, dude. I'm gonna go with the Black Beast because I know you're going Chris Daukaus.
Yeah, I'll dude. This fight's in the end knockout. It just depends on who. I'll go Chris Daukaus, man.
Hey, shout out to Chris though. He's a full-time UFC fighter now, though.
Hey, right? Oh, also, dude, did you see what Derek Lewis
I already know
said?
what you're saying. I already know.
Oh, Derek Lewis is a funny guy, and I hope you guys saw this. If you didn't, I will let you know what he said because Derek Lewis said he respects Chris Daukaus as a police officer, but he's not trying to get Rodney Kinged. He said this on ESPN.
Yeah. Thank God for Derek Lewis.
He's a national hero, dude.
He's a stud.
I saw that. Oh no! But that's such a Derek Lewis thing to say. And you even have to see the interview. You can just imagine him saying that, like super straight face in his tone.
Yeah, 100%. He means every word he says.
Derek Lewis, I love him. I love him so much. But man, Chris Daukaus was a scary guy, and he looks even scarier with that beard. This is a really tough one to pick because both guys are like one's an up and comer, the other one is still in his prime. I would say for Derek Lewis, and obviously for either guy, just takes one. For Derek Lewis especially, it just takes one. And Chris Daukaus said that he thinks that Derek Lewis is a harder hitter than Francis Ngannou. Honestly, you can debate that. I don't think it's a crazy statement to make. But you're Derek Lewis. Are you going by knockout?
Yeah, I got to.
What round?
Damn, if we can get hella specific.
Yeah,
shit, I don't know. Fucking just second shit.
Hey, don't be so surprised. It's what we do here. Chris Daukaus, 3rd round TKO. And I'm not confident in that.
It's coin flip, bro. At this high of a level, it's coin flip.
UFC 269 made me never be confident in the pick again as well. Damn, dude. MMA is such a pain in the ass to try to predict. I just want to stick with my NFL predictions. Yeah, I'm so much better with those. Speaking of which,
you know what? At least MMA is the gift that keeps on giving, though.
Dude, yeah, exactly, dude. I freaking love this sport. It is easily one of the best sports in the world. And there's really no doubt about that. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into UFC Talk 69. Nice. The nicest episode of MMA you will ever listen to, and thank you so much for sticking around to the end. Really does mean everything. Before I cap things off, just of course, Certified Banger Collection, Trucker Hat pre-orders, go get those stuff in. That is going on now at thefourthlong.com/apparel. Go get that. Shirts super affordable. Trucker hats. You're seeing hats nowadays go for like $40-$50. It's freaking ridiculous. $30 gets you. I was actually super impressed with the quality. The stitching looks great, and it's a comfortable hat. So go ahead and get that pre-ordered as well. And, of course, a few things dropping. You can still check out that Coach Joey Rodriguez interview over on thefourthlong.com/MMA on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you tune in from. And got a lot of stuff going on. Go check out the Hot Chip Challenge, and NFL breakdowns drop every Wednesday. And episode 2 of Card Stonks drops on Friday. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Blake, your thoughts on UFC 269 in one word or phrase?
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, have a nice weekend.